Hey everyone, and welcome to another Kinder Chat. So the next couple videos are going to be all about how to get your students to become independent writers. So when you get your students on the first day of kindergarten, most of them are not going to be able to write a sentence independently. But you know that by the end of the year, you want them to be independent writers before they move on to first grade. So it doesn't happen overnight. It will take all year for them to get there. So when your students are ready to begin to write sentences, it is up to you to model and show your students exactly how the sentences should look. So today, I'm just going to walk you through step by step on how I would model writing sentences to my students. So I will be stopping to explain myself, and then I will also be talking to you as if you were my students, so you can kind of see it in action. So here we go. Before we start writing, I want you to make sure that wherever you are teaching writing, it is a place where the students can see you and the paper, and they have a flat surface in front of them. So whether that means you are writing on a whiteboard or anchor chart paper or even under a doc cam, something that they're able to see what you're writing. And for this, I always use a marker to show how to write, just because it's so much easier for my students to see. They would not be able to see pencil on this, so I make sure I use a marker. I explain why I'm using the marker so that they can see, and it just makes everything so much easier. So to get started, the easiest thing to model a sentence is sight word sentences. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today, but you can use the steps that I'll show you with any type of writing. So I just started with sight word sentences because the students usually know a couple sight words by the time you start modeling sentence writing. And it's something that they know, they can read, most of them can spell the word. It just makes it a lot easier when you are writing on paper. So here we go. Okay, students, today we are going to write a sentence. A complete sentence shares an entire thought, like, I like to swim in the pool, or I can go on a walk. Those are examples of sentences. They tell you what's happening or what you are doing. So today we are going to think of a sentence using one of our sight words. So we are going to use the sight word can. So I want you to think of a sentence in your head using the sight word can. I'll share mine in a little bit. And then you're going to give them some think time to think of a word or think of a sentence using the sight word can. So I would share my sight word sentence with them. My sight word sentence is, I can go to the park. What's yours? And then I would call in a couple. So maybe one student might say, I can jump, or I can talk to my mom. They might have different sentences that you can do. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of their sentences. And if it's a super long sentence, try to pick a smaller one. Between like 4 to 6 words is plenty for just getting started. So, okay, we are going to do the sentence, we can go to the park. So first what we're going to do is we are going to see how many words are in the sentence. Ready? We can go to the park. How many words are there? 6 words. An easy way to differentiate this, if your students are just starting out, after they say 6 words, you could go and draw 6 lines on their paper so that they know that they have to fill those 6 lines with words. But we're not going to do that today. That's just an idea for another time. So what we're going to do first is we're going to repeat the sentence. Everybody ready? Hold up your fingers. We can go to the park. How many words is that? 6. Okay, so we're going to start with the first word. Who can tell me what the first word of the sentence is? Yes, we. Great job. Does anyone know how to spell the word we or where we can find it? Usually at this point, they will find it on the word wall, or maybe a student will know how to spell it. So I try to get them to do most of this rather than myself, so that they're able to think through as they're modeling the sentence. So I would have a student help me spell the word we. And I make sure I always say, the first word in the sentence always starts with a big or uppercase letter. So we're gonna start with the uppercase W. So start at the end of our paper, get your pencils up, ready? Put your pencils on your paper. Okay, I want you to watch me first, and then it will be your turn. So watch me as I write. We're going to bring the line down, up, to make the letter W. At this time, most of the students should know how to make the letter W, just reinforce that you need to touch the top line and the bottom line. Okay, we're going to use our spaghetti spaces to write the next letter in our word because we want our words standing right next to each other in the word. So we're going to write the lowercase e. We. Okay, it is your turn to write. Now I want you to write the word we on your paper just like I did. Now at this time, you're gonna walk around your room. You're going to see how they are writing, trying to fix any mistakes that they do. Once they write their word, you're gonna continue going. You're going to emphasize using finger spaces. For lefties, I recommend a popsicle stick until they kind of get the hang of how big finger spaces should be. So let's put a finger here because we're going to do a new word. What is the second word of our sentence? Yes, can. Great job. So now what you're going to do is you're going to either have them spell the word can for you, or you can spell it with them. So what's the first letter in can? I want you to watch me first, and then you will write. Okay, we're gonna do C, A, N. Can. We can. I also make sure to go over each word as I'm writing, so that way the students do not skip over a word, especially once they are writing independently. So we can, what's the next word? Go. G, O. And then you're going to just continue that same process, emphasizing the finger spaces, emphasizing where we touch the lines. Even though you're not teaching handwriting, it's still important to share how they should be using the lines and how they should be doing proper handwriting as you're writing. So I'm just gonna kind of quickly write the rest of the sentence, and then we will check it together. So we can go to the, okay. So these are all sight words, which they should be able to either find, they might know it, but park is not a sight word. So right now I want you to try to get them to start spelling phonetically, so to use the sounds they hear. So you could either have them write the word park on their own, or you could sound it out together. So I like to have them write it on their own. So they're gonna spell it out on their own paper by themselves. So I'm actually not going to write park yet. I want them to write it first. And once they write it, it might say PRK, it might just be PK, it might just be the letter P. It doesn't matter as long as they're starting to build that confidence when they're writing. So after they write the word park, I want you to really emphasize that you're so excited that they're using their sounds to spell, and it's okay if we don't spell all the words correctly. It's okay, that's why we're learning. So after you finish your sentence, you will want to add punctuation. So you're gonna add a period like this. Typically at the beginning of the year, I focus on just statements. If a student has a good sentence that's a question, then I go over it then, but if not, I just kind of leave it. So after we write the sentence, we're going to check it together. And below you will see a link to a blog post that has this writing a complete sentences checklist that I use, but I'm just gonna go through the steps right now. So the first step is to make sure it starts with an uppercase letter, and it does. So you will want your students to be pointing to the letters as you are going through. So you could say, okay, step number 1, I want you to point to the first letter. Is it uppercase? And then they should give you a thumbs up. Okay, next, did we use finger spaces? I want you to check your finger spaces. So you're gonna have your students just go like this between each word, and then thumbs up. And explain to your students, if you forgot a uppercase letter or didn't use finger spaces, we're going to do that next time, because you don't want your students to start all the way over. So once you do that, then the next step is, did I use my best handwriting? So they're gonna look and they're going to say yes. Then, did I end with punctuation? Yes. And last, we're going to reread the sentence and make sure it makes sense. This is super important. You want to teach your students to do this starting from day 1. So that way when they're writing by themselves, they're already in the habit of rereading their sentence and they're able to do that. So we can go to the park. Does it make sense? Yes. Okay, you did a great job. And then I would kind of walk around. I would have my students draw a picture at the top illustrating the sentence. I would walk around either maybe giving my students like a glow and a grow, so maybe something that they did well. So maybe they used their best handwriting and it looks great. I might say that. I might say, oh, but next time let's practice on making a little bit bigger finger spaces. So you can do a glow and a grow as you're walking around the room. And that's it. That is how you model a sentence to kindergarteners. Remember, you want to start simple, using sight words and easy words that they know until they kind of get into the hang of it. And thank you so much for watching. Next week will be all about building sentences. So it's the next step in building independent writers. There is a blog post below that you can go check out that has even more activities to help your students model how to write sentences. So I hope you go check it out. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you next week.